Okay, you're on.
Okay, you wanna come and do Periscope again?
Can
Can I turn it on?
Yeah, can you please?
How do you do
You got a title.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
it? Teamwork.
Yeah,
Are we, broadcasting and recording
yes,
now?
you are.
Okay. All right, we had some technical difficulties. You missed a lot of the festivities. This is, Wednesday evening, our Spirit Realm Realities service. And we've been talking about the 16 strong men. And tonight we're going to start talking about some ancillary spirits or miscellaneous spirits. We're going to begin on those tonight just as soon as we get the Periscope
So the connection's too.
audience back online. We had to,
What do I do?
Says the connection's too poor.
okay, is it on?
No, because it won't let you connect now on that.
Now it won't let me connect on Periscope.
Right.
Okay, I'm gonna go forward, I'm not gonna worry about Periscope. Wow. And they won't let you connect on Periscope.
Say a prayer or something.
We've been praying. Let me try it up here, maybe because it's back there. Let me give it a shot up here. That is just weird. First, we couldn't, Spirit Realm, we had broadcast, connection to port, it was back there. Okay. Let me start over.
That's not possible. I know, there's something jamming it up.
Just gonna call it Marine Spirit.
We have a bad area. We've always had problems with signals.
Well, yeah,
But it's getting worse.
of having a port connection
Yes,
on internet,
yes.
it's not peaceful.
No.
Like if you pick up a Wi-Fi on your cell phone, you either pick it up or you don't.
Mhm. Well, it's got like, it's
Yeah,
not
it
full.
won't just not work at all.
Okay, we are now live.
Yeah. That's true.
I'm trying to flip it so I can see it.
I
See, I'm
tried that.
tapping and it won't flip.
Yeah, I know, I tried that too.
But he said you have to restart it.
No, it says we're broadcasting. I guess folks got, okay. All right.
Very good.
Okay, now we're gonna get started. We persevered. We're gonna move into this. As I was saying, we have been in a series on the 16 strong men. We've covered that, and tonight I want to start talking about some miscellaneous spirits or ancillary spirits. And there's about 7 categories. It may be more, but these are the 7 main categories. One is called the Jezebel spirit. The second is the Ahab spirit. The third is the spirit of rejection. Okay. Next, what was I talking about? Now I'm drawing a blank. I was
Was it
running.
territorial?
Okay.
That's that order.
Territorial spirits, marine spirits. There were 2 more.
Incubus and succubus.
Incubus and succubus. Let me run through that again in different order. Okay. Jezebel spirit,
Yeah.
Ahab spirit, incubus, succubus, spirit of rejection, marine spirits, and territorial spirits.
Okay.
That was 7. And tonight, we're going to start talking about marine spirits. And if I get to it, maybe even territorial spirits. I did a series a few years ago on marine spirits, very extensive. Do we have that recorded anywhere? Is it up on YouTube or is
That
it
was
just?
on that hard drive, the external hard drive that got messed up.
Okay,
It's
so
in that blue bag.
we're gonna have to, I brought that blue bag down.
You still, that's my specialty, I'm maybe able to.
I brought that bag down here, did you see it?
Yep.
Okay, so we've got to get that hard drive, because that's quite a bit of material on the marine spirits. Okay,
Okay.
let's talk about marine spirits. Marine spirits are a type of territorial spirits, but they deserve their own designation. They are extremely I hate to say important, but they are a major enemy
And you gotta know.
to the warriors of life. Okay? You find that some people call them marine spirits. Some people call them water spirits. And my Christian brothers from Africa call them mermaid spirits. Marine spirits, water spirits, mermaid spirits. Those are the three main names that they go by. And they're going to be where there are large bodies of water. Coastal cities where there's an ocean or a sea, lakefront cities like Chicago. It's one of the reasons, and why San Francisco has such a problem with with the gay community. They control sexual immorality, uncleanliness, as well as money and finance. That's why when you go into a shopping mall, according to my African brothers, the reason why most shopping malls, in the atriums of most shopping malls, is going to be a water fountain or a wishing well or a waterfall. Some of my African brothers say, whenever you go into someone's home, if they have an aquarium, they believe that that person is worshiping marine spirits. One particular, yeah.
I just want to make our disclaimer. We don't believe that just because you have it could be true that a person may have a marine spirit, have a spirit, or worshiping that spirit unknowingly because they have this big marine, that have a big aquarium in their house, or they're like huge, especially if it's really huge. But it's not to say that they absolutely do have that demon or they worship that spirit because they have an aquarium. We have an aquarium, we weren't worshiping it.
We've never thought, we had a small, one of my kids has an aquarium that would have a turtle in it. But,
Well, yeah, it's not in the aquarium, yeah, it's not every aquarium.
But he made a point to show us his aquarium.
so, but, one of my brothers, Chuzzy Udenwa, out of the Atlanta area, he won't go into the aquarium in Atlanta there. He thinks that's a memorial to marine spirits. And one of my mentors, personal mentor of mine, Reverend Dr. Pepe Maturi, of blessed memory, when we would go out to eat, he wouldn't go in the Red Lobster because of the lobster on the side. My African brothers take these things very seriously.
It's all the time.
Because these things are in operation in Africa. I mean, they see it. People are practicing these things openly.
And I can show
We
you.
think that they are just superstition. A lot of them came out of that into Christianity, got delivered from these things.
We can
And
show
so
you.
they take it seriously.
So all these mud bugs, crawdad pictures on every corner here, those are graven images, basically.
Yeah, Reverend Pepe, he would not like that at all. He would, if he's, we were going someplace to eat and he saw these mud bugs and crawdads on the side and everything, he would like, let's go to Golden Corral. So that's, that's a true story. We were getting ready to go eat, we were gonna go to Red Lobster. And he looked up at that sign and was like, what about Golden Corral? So I saw him looking up at the sign and, he's the first one to talk to me about marine spirits, so I knew where he was coming from. And so we went to Golden Corral instead of going in there.
Yeah.
And then I was studying Chuzzy Udenwa out of Atlanta, and he was talking about the same thing. He won't even go to the aquarium.
We love Bowen.
Okay. And he pointed out something that I didn't know about. It's a mermaid image of a mermaid spirit on the coffee cups of, what is that?
Starbucks.
Yeah,
Starbucks.
yeah.
That's a mermaid.
You turn their logo upside down, it's some kind of
Or if you look at it upside down, you get it.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's,
And he, you
right
know,
side up, I guess it would be.
so
And they make a lot of money.
Yeah, that's great.
this is a very powerful spirit. This type of spirit, territorial spirits and mermaid spirits or marine spirits or water spirits, you don't come against them as an individual. The 16 strong men, I can meet those head on. I can take on one of the 16 strong men or all of them at the same time, one at a time. I have dominion and power. I can address them directly. A territorial spirit or a marine spirit, I'm not permitted to address them directly.
Okay, guys, we're-
I asked Yeshua to deal with them on my behalf. Territorial spirits, marine spirits, water spirits, mermaid spirits, do not address them directly. There's a book by another one of our mentors, his name is John Paul Jackson, of blessed memory. He wrote a book called Needless Casualties of War. And he gives stories about people who violated that rule. In the book of Jude, it says, there are certain spirits. It says that you are not to make railing accusations against. Even the angels don't make the angels say the Lord rebuked you. When you think about it in war, let's say a buck private, captures a general. He still has to salute that general, even though he's an enemy. That general is still entitled. This book, Needless Casualties of War by John Paul Jackson. Too low? Okay, right there, for my Periscope folks.
That act should have shown up a lot later.
Okay, you can pass that around. Take a look at that.
Also thinking, all this stuff you mentioned, like the lobster and all that kind of stuff, and one of those, none of that's kosher, right?
Nope.
That's the other thing, I was thinking of that, I forgot. Those are all non-kosher animals. Those are considered unclean animals, not fit for your
That's the
consumption.
microbiome.
Your consumption.
It's represented as a symbol, it's a reflection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
Which Bible shop, it's just,
what were you saying there, Brother Cody?
I was saying that the moon represents a reflection on the face of this cover right here. He was asking why is the moon with the axe? And I said because it's reflecting upon what the axe is doing, because the moon is representing the reflection of the sun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay,
There's
Now-
there's more in there about the act John Paul Jackson talks about. You're right.
if you have your Bibles with you today, I want you to turn to the book of Job, chapter 40. We're going to start talking about marine spirits. When you get there, say amen.
Amen.
We have a Bible for you. Well, go ahead and grab it. There are two Bibles back there you can hand to Brother Mike and Brother Cody if he can't find his Bible. They're on the table. On the table.
I would rather listen to you if you're gonna be.
Well, you can follow along if you like. What if I'm a big fat liar? You trust me that well?
Yes, I do.
I trust
You
you.
shouldn't. Don't ever trust anybody.
That's wisdom.
Read and know for yourself.
Gotta raise you up.
What if I lose my mind? What if I slip over? What if I get like Darth Vader and go over to the dark side? If you don't read for yourself, you can't pull me back.
You're not
You
using,
go-
you're not using a good example using you.
I could get like Darth Vader and go to the dark
I
side.
don't see that happening, but I see what
Well,
you
thank
mean.
you. I appreciate
I do
that
see
vote of
what you mean.
confidence. But as I will tell anyone, don't follow me, follow Yeshua.
Oh, completely.
Okay? Don't put any faith in me. I can let you down. Okay? I can let you down. But if I train you properly, you can pull me back up. You know, that's what we're here for. If one of us gets down, the Bible says two are better than one, because if one is down, the other one can pull him up. Okay?
It says that?
Two are better than one, because when one is down, the other can help him back up. Okay? All right, let's go to Book of Job, chapter 40.
40 or 4?
40, chapter 40. Book of Job.
I know that one pretty well.
Okay? Now let me remind you, this is God talking to Job. Moreover, the Lord answered Job and said, shall he that contendeth with the Almighty instruct him? He that reproveth God, let him answer.
40.
Chapter 40, verse 1. Starting at verse 1.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Got the Psalms. For some reason.
You got Psalm, what's right next to Psalms.
The Bible is so tight.
Okay.
Got it. Sorry.
Look in the index for Job, if you don't know.
I'm just inspecting the Bible. I've never seen one like this.
Okay, that's a Messianic Bible. Okay, the names are gonna be a little different in the order.
Your page 614, where you might,
Just turn to page 600.
It's 596 in this one. I'm just checking it out. This is really neat.
Okay. Chapter 40. Moreover, the Lord answered Job and said, shall he that contendeth with the Almighty instruct him? Question mark. He that reproveth God, let him answer. Then Job answered the Lord and said, behold, I am vile. What shall I answer thee? I will lay my hand upon my mouth. Once have I spoken, but I will not answer. Yea, twice, but I will proceed no further. Then answered the Lord unto Job out of the whirlwind and said, gird up thy loins now like a man. I will demand of thee and decree thou unto me. Wilt thou also this annul my judgment? Wilt thou condemn me, that thou mayest be righteous? Hast thou an arm like God? Or canst thou thunder with a voice like him? He's asking Job this. You know, Job was a little ticked off about his situation.
for
Okay? Okay. Deck thyself now with majesty and excellency, and array thyself with glory and beauty. Cast abroad the rage of thy wrath, and behold every one that is proud, and abase him. Look on every one that is proud, and bring him low, and tread down the wicked in their place. Hide them in the dust together, and bind their faces in secret. Then will I also confess unto thee that thine own right hand can save thee. Behold now, okay, here beginning at verse 15 is where we really get into the meat of this. Behold now Behemoth, which I made with thee. He eateth grass as an ox. Lo now, his strength is in his loins, and his force is in the navel of his belly. He moveth his tail like a cedar. The sinews of his stones are wrapped together. His bones are as strong pieces of brass. His bones are like bars of iron. So he's describing something that is very strong, right? It's got bones like iron. All right? He is the chief of the ways of God. He that made him can make his sword to approach him unto him.
So after reading that, how do people say that dinosaurs aren't mentioned in the Bible?
Okay, it's not talking about
We're
dinosaurs.
not talking about dinosaurs, though.
Okay,
They are in here.
let me read further.
It's kinda like the
Who made-
cedar.
Okay,
Mhm.
who made everything? Anybody want to answer?
Yeshua,
Yeshua. According to Colossians chapter 1, he made everything that is seen and everything that is unseen. So, what does it say here? He that madeth him can make the sword to approach unto him. Okay, what did I say about marine spirit? You can't go up against them. You have to ask Yeshua to do it for you. Okay, that's the basis for that right there in that verse. Verse 19. Let me read on. Surely the mountains bring him forth food, where all the beasts of the field play. He lieth under the shady trees, in the covert of the reed and fens. You know what a covert, that's the channel for water. He's a marine spirit. Okay? The shady trees cover him with their shadow. The willows of the brook compass him about. Behold, he drinketh up a river, and hasteth not. He trusteth that he can draw up Jordan into his mouth. He's confident that he has control over other spirits, over the spirits of the water. Do you catch that? Behold, he drinketh up a river. Doesn't mean that he's really drinking. It means that he can swallow up other minor spirits. And hasteth not. He can take his time. Nothing can mess with him. He's so powerful, he doesn't have to rush. He's at the top of the food chain. Okay? And hasteth not. He trusteth that he can draw up Jordan into his mouth. He taketh it with his eyes. His nose pierceth through snares. He cannot be caught. Only his maker can cause the sword to come against him. So when you are praying against a marine spirit, you ask Yeshua to cause the sword to come against him. Amen? Do you catch that?
Yep.
Okay? I'm not going into great detail. I just want to make you guys...
What if you ask for protection for someone else in a situation like that?
You would still ask, you would say, Adonai, Yeshua HaMashiach, cause your sword to come against the marine spirits that are coming against me, my family, so-and-so.
Complete
so-and-so.
strangers.
Anyone, same thing.
Okay.
Or of the area,
I did it yesterday. That's not asking.
okay? On marine spirits, now you can confront one of the 16 strong men, but on a marine spirit, you have to go through this process. Now let's go to Job 41. Talk about another marine spirit. This is still God talking. Canst thou draw out Leviathan with an hook, or his tongue with a cord, which thou lettest down? He's saying, hey, can you do anything about Leviathan?
The sea dragon.
Right. Canst thou, sea dragon, marine spirit, water spirit, mermaid spirit,
Sea serpent.
okay? Canst thou put an hook into his nose, or bore his jaw through with a thorn? So whenever you're coming up against marine spirits, you ask Yeshua to put his holy hook in his nose and in his lip and draw him out. You ask Yeshua to do it. You don't say, I bind you, such and such marine spirit, and I'm going to do this to you. You're going to catch a whole lot of HELL. Might cost you your life. Okay? Verse 3, will he make many supplications unto thee? Will he speak soft words unto you? Will he make a covenant with thee? Wilt thou take him for a servant forever? Wilt thou play with him as with a bird? Or wilt thou bind him for thy maidens? Shall the companions make a banquet of him? Shall they part him among the merchants? Canst thou feel his skin with barbed irons, or his head with fish spears? Lay thy hand upon him. Remember the battle, do no more. Behold, the hope of him is in vain. Shall not one be cast down even at the sight of him? None is so fierce that dare stir him up. Who then is able to stand before me? Who hath prevented me, that I would repay him? Whatsoever is under the whole heaven is mine. I will not conceal his parts, nor his power, nor his comely proportion. Who can discover the face of his garment? Or who can come to him with his double bridle? Who can open the doors of his face? His teeth are terrible round about. His scales are his pride, shut up together as with a closed seal. Leviathan has scales. When you attack him, you just hit one of these scales, which is a spirit of pride. You're just alerting him to your presence. You're just telling him, come and attack me. One is so near to another that no air can come between them, talking about the scales. They are joined one to another. They stick together that they cannot be sundered. By his nestings, a light doth shine, and his eyes are like the eyelids of the morning. Out of his mouth go burning lamps, and sparks of fire leap out. Out of his nostrils goeth smoke, as out of a seething pot or cauldron. His breath kindleth coals, and a flame goeth out of his mouth. In his neck remaineth strength, and sorrow is turned into joy before him. The flakes of his flesh are joined together. They are firm in themselves. They cannot be moved. His heart is as firm as a stone, yea, as hard as a piece of the nether millstone. When he raiseth up himself, the mighty are afraid. By reason of breakings, they purify themselves. The sword of him that layeth at him cannot hold. The spear, the dart, nor the harbinger. So, the sword, you can't come against him. You have no weapon against the spirit. He esteemeth iron as straw.
It sounds like Godzilla. I'm telling
Okay.
you. It's like Godzilla. I'm like, okay, Boaz, you gotta give us Godzilla.
It's a dragon that, the old time dragons that breathe fire.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, it's Godzilla.
He'll burn you up.
Something.
Okay. He'll sit your whole life for fire.
Yeah. Like, okay, that's where they got Godzilla from.
Straw, iron to him is like straw to a cock. That's, his teeth. I mean, that's how strong he is. His scales, no air can, he's so tightly.
His teeth wrap all the way around his head almost.
Hmm?
It basically sounds like his teeth go all the way around his head almost too.
Could be, sounds that way.
Roundabout.
28, verse 20. The arrow cannot make him flee. Sling stones are turned with him into stubble. He burns them up. He burns up stones. Darts are counted as stubble. He laugheth at the shaking of a spear. Sharp stones are under him. He spreadeth sharp pointed things upon the mind. He maketh the deep to boil like a pot. He maketh the sea like a pot of ointment. He maketh a path to shine after him. One would think the deep to be hoary, white, hoary means white. Upon earth, there is not his like. Who is made without fear? He has no fear of anything. He beholdeth high things. He is a king over all the children of pride. All demonic manifestations of the spirit of pride. If you see someone, you know, we talked about one of the strong men, one of the 16 strong men, the spirit of haughtiness or the spirit of pride. He's chief over this. This is a marine spirit. Leviathan and Behemoth are marine spirits. And as you can see from the scriptures, only Yeshua, only his maker can cause the sword to come against him.
Is
When
that
I-
because
Go
the
ahead.
depths of the ocean are unknown?
Say what now?
Is that because the depths of the ocean are completely unknown to man?
No, they've been to the deepest part of the ocean.
Not man.
Well, not man, but
No, man never has.
machinery.
Now,
Right.
phrase your question again. What's your question exactly?
Man's never been to the deepest depths
Part of the ocean, right?
Yeah, they have.
In a sub, well,
Not even, they got new technology, they're going down deep and discovering all kinds of.
Well,
in the Mariana.
Okay, let me wade in on this debate. As far as I know, we have not been down, man has not gone down to the deepest part of the ocean.
Not personally.
He has sent some probes down, but he has not gone down to the deepest part yet. And also, the deepest part, we don't know exactly where the deepest part, we know where some is, but there could be other shelves that keep going down further. The ocean floor is widely undiscovered,
And volcanic.
as well as volcanic, yeah. So, the Leviathan and Behemoth, they know the depths. They say, you know, what does it say? He calls us, you know, the ocean to boil like a cauldron. Okay, now speaking spiritual, as I'm saying, these are spirits. It's not dinosaurs. These are spirits. Both of these spirits, Leviathan and Behemoth, reside in the water,
You think they're just,
in rivers, lakes, oceans, and seas.
In particulates.
Right. And where you have coastal cities, you're gonna see their influence.
You'll never see the actual beast though, in one whole piece, will you? Because water covers so much of the earth. They have to be particulated to cover a large area like.
Well, they're spirit beings, so even, you know, now there are people who can see in the spirit realm. I'm not gonna say that no one has ever seen it in the flesh or even in the spirit, but they are there. And they cast an influence. Here in Louisiana, with Louisiana, much of this state, probably more than any other state, Louisiana is heavily influenced by marine, water, and mermaid spirits. Being located on the Gulf Coast, and with all of the bayous and waterways located throughout the state, from the south, from the very southern point all the way to the north. There are bayous even up in Arkansas, in the southern part of Arkansas, and in what is that, East Texas?
Sylvia, Texas is.
Okay.
small.
And then if you go over to the Mississippi Delta, you know, but no other state has as many waterways, in my opinion, as Louisiana. Not even Florida. I think only South Florida in the Everglades has the waterways. When you get into North Florida, I don't think it has the glades and the waterways and the bayous the way that, I could be wrong. Florida would be the only state that will come even close.
So the whole thing is pretty much coastal.
But I still think you should have took out the word probably, because I believe it's more than likely the worst one.
Then you can make money.
Take out probably because of what?
You said, Louisiana's probably one of the worst ones. I don't think it's a probably. I
You
think
think
it
it
is
is?
the worst one.
Okay, well, when you have a situation like that, intellectually, you're supposed to say, arguably, Louisiana is the worst, has the greatest influence from marine spirits. operating throughout the entire states. And we know that, you know, witchcraft is extremely prevalent in, throughout Louisiana. And voodoo is extremely prevalent in southern Florida, in Miami as well. So,
And then you got voodoo,
yeah,
which is Haitian voodoo.
Well,
which
there's
some
voodoo and then there's guru. And voodooism is about the destruction of knowledge, and then guruism is about the creation and building of knowledge.
what did you call that second one?
It's guru and voodoo.
Voodoo. And I've heard of another one too, like voodoo or something.
Voodoo is Haitian voodoo. It was it was Haitians that took and combined,
Well,
I believe, Santeria and voodoo and made voodoo.
You got that around here too.
Santeria was combined with Catholicism, coming out of voodoo, combined with Catholicism. It all comes out of Africa. And, you know, it's taken various shapes and forms,
Something that.
yeah, here. But the main point that I want to get across to you is don't mess with marine spirits. Okay? Now, let's go to Matthew. No, first go to Isaiah. Oh, I'll tell you what. Go to the Psalm. Go to Psalm 74:14. 74th Psalm, verse 14. I'm working with an actual Bible, and I'm not doing things electronic. So, Psalm 74, verse 14. When you get there, say amen. I'm not there yet.
Amen.
Okay. Got one amen. Anybody else got the Psalm 74 yet? Okay, say amen. Okay.
Sorry, I got caught up. Reading about heathens.
Verse 14. Thou breakest the heads of Leviathan in pieces, and gave him to be meat to the people inhabiting the wilderness.
Yeah, amen.
Okay.
Articulated, that's what I was looking for.
All right.
Did you see 15 though?
Verse 15,
13.
13.
That's
Thou
exactly what
didst
I was
divide the
looking for.
sea by thy strength. Thou breakest the heads of the dragons in the waters. Thou breakest the heads of Leviathan in pieces, and gavest him to be meat to the people
So
inhabiting
it
the
was
wilderness.
even a dragon.
So they're talking about dragons, it's about taking the Bible.
Leviathan. Verse 15. Thou didst cleave, hold on people, hold on. Thou didst cleave the fountain and the flood. Thou driest up mighty rivers. Okay? When he's talking about drying up mighty rivers, he's talking about drying up the marine spirits. But who does this? God is doing this. This is not an act of man. This is not the act of a prophet. Moses didn't do it. God has to deal with the marine spirits. Okay, go to Isaiah chapter 27, verse 1. Isaiah 21,
27 or 21?
27, excuse me, verse 1. Isaiah 21,
27.
I keep saying 21, excuse me. Isaiah 27, verse 1.
Yes, amen.
When you get there, say amen.
Amen.
Okay. I've been using the computer, so I used to flip to these so quickly. I've gotten out of practice. Okay. I'm in the book of Isaiah now. Let me get to chapter 27. Okay. In that day, the Lord, with his sore and great and strong sword, shall punish Leviathan, the piercing serpent, even Leviathan, that crooked serpent, and he shall slay the dragon that is in the sea, the marine spirit. Who calls us, everybody answer me, who calls us the sword to come against Leviathan and Behemoth?
I think Yeshua? You want to say
Yeshua.
or Elohim?
Okay, who breaks down his heads and give them for me? Yeshua.
Yeshua. It says Yeshua or Yahweh? It says Yeshua.
They're one and the same, doesn't matter. Yeshua, his maker.
I'm just making sure.
Remember, in Job it says his maker causes the sword to come against him. And in Colossians chapter 1, who is the maker of all things seen and unseen? It is Yeshua. Okay, so it is Yeshua who is going to take care of Leviathan at the end of days and even right now in our time. Okay, I just want to keep stressing this point to you. Okay, now let's go to Matthew.
Can we say that's like Satan has time in this 27:1?
Say that again
Can
now.
we say that's like Satan has time in 27:1?
Yeah,
Can we?
I tend to think, when I study the marine spirits, I tend to think of the marine spirit as being the very essence of evil, more than any other demonic spirit that I read about.
I put a lot of research into this one as it would go, because atop the Tower of Babylon there was a dragon as well, and I was determining whether or not, it would make sense to put Leviathan on top of the Tower of Babylon, because that's in the sky. A sea dragon doesn't belong there.
Okay,
And also Leviathan was slain by God, therefore Leviathan could not have been the dragon that was atop the Babylonian tower.
he's still in existence though.
Particular.
He's just been defeated many times. Okay, let's go to verse 25. Let me show you something here.
Or is that thing that we?
Matthew chapter 14, verse 25. When you get there, say amen. Matthew chapter 14, verse 25.
Amen.
Got there?
Amen.
Amen. And in the fourth watch of the night, Jesus, or I'm reading King James, so I said Jesus, or Yeshua, went unto them, walking on the sea. Okay? Two things I want you to notice there. It says in the middle of the fourth watch. Not in the middle, it just says in the fourth watch of the night. A watch is a time of prayer. The prophets were instructed to do watches. The fourth watch is from 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. In the Old Testament, there were 3 watches. They were 4 hours long. They began basically at sundown and ended at sunrise. The second watch, which is called the middle of the night, not midnight. When you read in the King James Bible and it says midnight, it means middle of the night. That means the exact midpoint between sundown and sunrise. It's not 12 midnight, it varies depending on the time of the year. Sometimes it can be at 12 midnight. Then sometimes it fluctuates from 12 midnight all the way to
About 4
1:30.
a.m. right now, right?
Huh?
It'd be about 3 or 4 a.m.
No,
right now.
it's 1:30.
1:30 right now.
1:30 a.m. right now, which means midday is at 1:30 also.
Okay.
Okay. Last time I checked, which was last week, I always check because that's the time I like to get up and pray. It was 1:28, so about 1:30 right now. So in the Old Testament, a watch was 4 hours long and it was only 3. When the Romans took over, the Romans had their watches divided into 3 hours, and they had 4. So when you read about a watch in the Old Testament, it's only gonna have three, 1, 2, and 3. But when you read about it in the New Testament, it's gonna be 4. And that fourth watch is 3 a.m. A lot of people wake up at 3 a.m. Really, that's because God is telling them to wake up and pray, do a watch. The Bible says that whomever Yeshua finds watching, he will gird himself and serve and come to meet him. Now, do you know what it means to gird yourself?
I know what it means to be woke up around 3 o'clock every morning.
Gird
I didn't
yourself.
know why.
Okay. When, they wore long tunics. And when they got ready to do, we talk about when we get ready to do work, we roll up our sleeves, right? Roll up your sleeves and get ready to, work, right? Well, they wore long tunics. So when they got ready to take a trip and they're gonna do some, some serious walking or work, they would pull up the bottom of that and tuck it into their waistband so that they don't trip over. So when it says Yeshua will gird himself and serve you, he's rolling up his sleeves. He's coming to do something for you. If he finds you praying at 3 a.m. in the morning or in the middle of the night, you're doing a watch, and you really move the hand of God on your behalf when you pray during the watches, when you pray in the middle of the night, because that's the demonic hour. That's the bewitching time. That's when the witches and the warlocks go out into the woods and do human sacrifices. That's when they get, the babies, the young girls that they get pregnant and take their babies and take them out to the woods or up into the mountains and do their blood sacrifices. Or they catch a homeless person that won't anybody miss and do a blood sacrifice on them. So when you get up and do a watch, you're like special forces. You're like a Navy SEAL going behind enemy lines to do a job. So doing a watch is real important. It's a good time to pray. I've done a series on the watches, very extensive. Is that on that hard drive that's messed up too? The series on the watches?
I got the CDs.
We got that on CD? We need to put that out on YouTube somehow.
I can't physically do that though.
Huh?
I can't physically do that.
Do what?
Watch.
Why not?
Why not?
I have it, because I would be wrecked the next day.
You'll
You'd be
we
arrested
have a
next day?
testimony. We have a testimony.
See, that's why David said we don't sleep as other men do.
Mhm. It's a spiritual development.
I
Do
mean,
it on the
it's physically because I can't do it.
Well, you can, but it's just
So I
like
need to
saying I
stop getting
can't
mad
lift.
at it.
Listen, it's like saying I
I
can't
need to
lift.
stop getting mad at it.
Right.
It's like saying I cannot
Okay.
lift 200 pounds right now. But if I work a little bit every day, every other day, I will add more weight to it, I can lift 200 pounds in about a month. Okay? If you start praying a little bit, 5 minutes tonight, this whole week, 10 minutes next week, adding it on and on at 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the morning, you will not miss that sleep. Your spirit overcomes your flesh, and God
Yeah.
never
Peter couldn't do it either.
united.
Remember in the garden, when Yeshua was praying in the garden, that was a watch. Remember he said, when Yeshua started talking to the demons, he said, this is your hour of power. This is your hour of power.
Mhm.
But Yeshua was coming against it. And he asked Peter, and who else was with him? I forget who was with him.
John.
Was it Peter and John?
Three main guys,
Okay.
I believe.
Yeah.
And
He said, could you not watch with me 1 hour? They kept falling asleep. First he went back and woke them up, and then he went back the second time, and he said, sleep on.
because it didn't matter if they watched anyway, because
If they were.
No, it wasn't that
he was gonna do it, he's gonna have to
He
do
was
it
going to
again.
do it, but he still needed the spiritual,
Support.
he was still man. He still needed spiritual power and help of prayer.
Who was this? Which,
Yeshua, Jesus.
he was mad?
Jesus was fully man, just like me and you, and he was fully God at the same time. Okay? He was fully man and fully God. He was tempted just like me and you. Yeshua walked around drinking Coca-Cola just like you, Mike.
I don't think so.
He walked around with a styrofoam cup in his hand all day long, just the same way you did. He couldn't resist that Coke.
Yeah, okay, sure. He would
I'm
never.
gonna play along.
Okay, that's good.
I won't throw nobody under the bus.
Only thing he didn't have the Marlboros like you have, though, that's all.
I upgraded to Winston's, cause I'm gonna quit.
Winston, you rather fight than quit.
No, I'm gonna quit.
Okay.
He was.
I think Winston used to, was it Winston or Terry? They used
I
to
want
have,
to quit.
they had a commercial in the 60s saying, I'd rather fight than switch. And they used to have a guy with a black eye on all their cigarette ads. Was
Yeah.
that Winston?
Yeah, the manly cigarettes.
Yeah, I'd rather fight than switch, and the guy be there with a black eye. Smoking it. That's before your time, brother.
Yeah, they used to get pretty hectic with them ads.
Yeah,
Yeah, the doctors on there saying, I only smoke Camels.
yeah, I saw that one. I saw that one too. Doctors on there. I smoke Camels. Camels are
They
best.
prescribed them for asthma. I used to have a
Mhm.
medicinal book from the 1800s,
Mhm.
and they prescribed two cigarettes a day
That's how
for
my
asthma.
grandfather died, because he was just told to smoke cigarettes with emphysema.
Yeah, be careful what you listen to.
And in the same book, it was like, I think morphine was their cure for everything else
He wrote it
besides
to try to
asthma.
kill himself.
Now, verse 25, it says, and in the fourth watch of the night, Yeshua went unto them, walking on the sea. God is intensely purposeful. You're going to hear me say that a lot. I'm going to, after a while, I'm going to say God is, and I want you guys to say intensely purposeful. Why do you think he was walking on the sea? Anybody got an idea why Yeshua was walking on the water? Huh?
His authority over, the marine.
Amen.
Exactly. Exactly. You're the first person I've asked that question who came up with that answer. He was demonstrating his authority and power over the marine spirits.
Yeah.
This is chapter 14. If you read further down into chapter 15, it'll say, the next chapter says, then came to Yeshua scribes and Pharisees, which were of Jerusalem, saying, wait a minute, that's not the part I want. If you hypocrites, prophet. It might be one of the other. But basically, after he did that, he began to heal people. Trying to find. Tell you what.
Mhm.
Look at. Go to Mark. Chapter 4.
Mark 4.
Mark 4. Mark 4 will show.
Mark 4 verse.
The whole chapter, chapter 4 and 5.
All right.
Okay? When you get there, say amen. Okay. And he began again to teach by the seaside, and there was gathered unto him a great multitude, so that he entered into a ship and sat in the sea, and the whole multitude by the sea on the land. And he taught them many things by parables. And he said unto them in his doctrine, hearken, behold. Okay, I want to get to, where's the part that I want? Okay.
This verse 35.
No, he's talking about the parable of the sowing of the
I
seed.
know, but you want to go back to the part where he said he went on the water. So you want
No,
to-
that's not.
You didn't want that part?
Go to verse 35.
That's what I said. Right?
Huh?
That's what I said.
Oh, I thought you said 5.
No, it said verse 35.
Oh, you said verse 35, okay. And the same day, when the even was come, he saith unto them, let us pass over unto the other side. And when they had sent away the multitude, they took him even as he was in the ship. And there were also with him other little ships. And there arose a great storm of wind, and the waves beat into the ship, so that it was now full. And he was in the hinder part of the ship asleep on a pillow. And they awake him and said unto him, Master, carest thou not that we perish? Yeshua wasn't worried about it. And he arose and rebuked the wind and said unto the sea, Peace be still. And the wind ceased, and there was a great calm. And he said unto them, Why are ye so fearful? How is it that you have no faith? And they feared exceedingly and said, one to another, What manner of man is this, that even the wind and the sea obey him? The marine spirits. Yeshua wasn't worried about it, because he knew he had command over the marine. Nothing could have happened to him. Now let's read on further in chapter 5. And they came over unto the other side of the sea, into the country of the Gadarenes. And when he was come out of the ship, immediately there met him out of the tombs a man with an unclean spirit. Now this is the guy that Yeshua cast out, a legion of demons out of him. And there was a herd of swine on a nearby hillside. And he came back, and the swine asked if they could go into, not the swine, but
The devils asked if they could go
into the swine. And when they went into the swine, they ran violently down the hill, off the cliff, into the sea. Okay. Why did they run violently down the hill, off the cliff, into the sea?
To eliminate the food source of the people that live nearby.
Say what?
To eliminate the food source of the people nearby. It was because Jesus had mercy that he allowed him into the pigs, or Yeshua.
Not quite.
Yes.
What's your answer?
Well, physically, there was food, obviously.
They were what?
Physically,